This Masters was not 4 days in the Georgia sun, but even Mother Nature smiling on Jon Rahm this Sunday. The Spaniard, now a two-time major champion and forever welcome on the grounds at Augusta National as you watch the final putt fall. It was a final round 69 for Rambo. Plenty as he tracked down Brooks Koepka and never looked back. Jon Rahm becomes just the fifth golfer in the last 50 years with 4 wins on the PGA Tour by the end of April. As the sun sets on yet another Masters, we say hello to CBS Golf analyst Kyle Porter and Doug Bell. Gentlemen, Jon Rahm becoming the 56th man to ever be welcomed into the champions locker room at Augusta National. Spots the field 2 with a 4-putt on his first hole of the week, and they still can't keep him out of Butler Cabin. Kyle Porter, how do you wrap your head around an all-time week and an all-time day here at Augusta?
Well, I think you wrap your head around it with an all-time champion. You know, Jon Rahm is somebody that we've been talking about all week, Joe. He's been probably the best player in the world over the last 7 years. You could throw Rory at that. You could throw Dustin Johnson at that. But Jon Rahm is right up there, and I think that people I think the just common golf fan is lagging behind a little bit of their literacy of who Jon Rahm is as a player. He's an all-time great. He's going to go down, in my opinion, Joe, as one of the 20, 25 best to ever do it. But because he didn't have the major championships until kind of the last 2 years, people weren't there yet. They hadn't kind of gotten there yet with him. But now, U.S. Open and Masters, only 18 men have ever done it, including Jon Rahm. That's big boy stuff on a really special day, Doug.
The only other Masters champion to double bogey the first hole of the tournament to go on to win, Sam Snead, 1954. Think about that. And the great Seve Ballesteros once had a 4-putt double bogey here at the Masters, and when asked afterwards about it, he responded, I miss, I miss, I miss, I make. Next question, and Jon Rahm referenced that on Thursday afternoon after he opens with the double and the 4-putt and then responds with 9 birdies. It was a sensational opening round for Jon Rahm, and now he joins Seve and Jose Maria Olazabal, who gave him that big hug, that big bear hug, and Sergio as 4 Spaniards to don the green jacket. This would have been Seve's 66th birthday. I mean, this is Hollywood stuff, which we always see at the Masters. Very, very special. The great Jon Rahm, now a 2-time major champion, the U.S. Open, and now a Masters champion for life.
Yeah, he will look great in that Masters green. It was no doubt a Sunday for the ages, 30-some holes, and I don't want to abandon the moment here, guys, but this has the makings of a potentially historic season as well for Rahm. KP, 4 wins, a green jacket by April 9. Fair to say he casts the longest shadow in the game right now?
Well, I think that's right. And, you know, you look back at Scottie Scheffler's 2022, what did he have, Joe? He had 4 wins and a green jacket by April. So Scottie Scheffler didn't go on to win the rest of the year and still won Player of the Year on the PGA Tour. I think Rahm pretty much has that locked up, barring something crazy the rest of the year. But now we're kind of getting into the territory where you're talking about a potentially all-time season. What if he goes and wins the PGA? What if he goes and wins the U.S. Open? Then you're getting in that 5, 6, 7-win territory with 2 majors. Not a lot of guys that have done that. Most of them are named Tiger Woods, just multiple times in different seasons. So I've been bullish on Rahm for a really long time, and not just as a kind of historical great, but having an historically great singular season. And Doug, it kind of looks like this season is going to be that one.
Wow, what a season, huh? And we have a lot of big events left, but he's now again the #1 player in the world. You know, he's a guy who I talked to back in Maui, and he was really a motivated golfer. You know, he'd won a couple of times in the DP World Tour, and he won once last year in the PGA Tour, but he really felt that the other guys had gotten ahead of him a bit. And when you give a guy like Rahm with his talent motivation, wow, is he taken off? I mean, this isn't really an impressive performance by Jon Rahm, and I think the monkey somewhat is off his back. You know, he had that one major. When is he going to win another one? And now that he has, I think Kyle's right. The genie is out of the bottle, and I don't think the genie's going back in the bottle anytime soon.
#1 is the most important. #2 comes right after that, and sometimes it doesn't come right after that. And maybe it opens the floodgates to plenty more. I want to go back even further than Maui here, Doug. The fiery Spaniard often taken to task for wearing his emotions on his sleeve at times. It takes great discipline to win the Masters. It takes great discipline to win the Masters in the face of this forecast. It takes even greater discipline to do it after double bogeying the first hole. The second 9 here on Sunday told me a lot about the maturation of Jon Rahm. The game plan that he rolled out, Doug, how impressed were you by it?
Oh, very impressed. And I think you not only have to credit Jon Rahm, and he's an emotional guy. He's a Spaniard who wears his emotions on his sleeve. But I think you need to credit his caddy, Adam Hayes, who has been in the bag for all of his professional wins, 18 of them, many on the PGA Tour, some on the European Tour. I mean, Adam travels all over the world with this guy. And I don't know if you remember a few years ago at the Players' Championship when they had that disagreement on the par 5, and Adam wanted him to lay up, and Rahm said, no, I'm going for it, and he plunks it in the water, slams the club in the bag, and there was silence between the two of them. After that tournament, John and Adam had kind of a powwow, and I think he started listening to Adam more, and obviously with 2 beautiful children, he's a mature guy now. I think he's maturing before our very eyes. So it's all coming together for Jon Rahm. We see it all the time in professional golf, and now Jon Rahm, everything is good in his life. Family, obviously the golf game, and this guy's going to flourish. There's no question.
Well, and I think to follow that up, Doug, I thought he was very patient even on Sunday. He played 30 holes. I think he had, I just off the top of my head, I haven't seen his entire, both cards from today. I think he had 1 bogey, maybe 2 throughout the entire day. And to be paired with somebody like Koepka, who's a major monster, to have Jordan Spieth and Phil Mickelson coming at you all day, and to go out there and be that patient with that golf course, with that much history on the line, I think is really impressive. I do want to go back real quick, Joe. We saw it earlier, but the hug between Jon Rahm and Jose Maria Olazabal. We saw Jose Maria Olazabal hitting balls on the range just like we all would do if we missed the cut by 7 strokes on Saturday. He's out there taking full advantage of the week. I thought that hug between those two was maybe the most emotional moment of the entire week. It was a very emotional week. Every Masters is. Maybe this one more so because of the PGA Tour Live stuff, everything that's going on with the Champions Dinner. But that hug right there between those two guys, undoubtedly talking about Seve Ballesteros and what he did here and what he did over the course of his career. I thought that was a pretty special moment.
Yeah, with that fire comes great emotion, and what a display of it there after Jon Rahm gets his 2nd career major, his first Masters, and he did it by pulling that immediate reversal on Koepka as the horn sounded to resume play on Sunday, guys. That perhaps may be indicative of what was to come. Brooks, only good for 54 this tournament. Kyle, confidence was the buzzword swirling around Brooks Koepka coming into the week. What does this sort of gut punch Sunday do to building that inward belief and maybe tearing it down here on Sunday?
Well, Koepka's very interesting. I don't want to kill him because 4-time major champions they don't grow on trees. They're not everywhere, and he's one of the great champions I think in golf history. But we have a recent history, Doug, of him not playing great in final rounds at majors. You go back to the 2019 PGA Championship. We talked about it earlier. He wins, but there was a real meltdown happening there. 2020 PGA Championship, when Colin Morikawa went on to win. 2019 Masters when he hits it in the water on 12 and Tiger goes on to win. 2021 PGA Championship when he's with Phil Mickelson in that final pairing and Phil got the best of him there. And now we've got the 2023 Masters. So it's not a live thing. It's not a PGA Tour thing. I think it's Koepka used to be the closer. He was the only one drinking coffee at major championships, and now he's not. And I think that's a real storyline that he's going to have to take in to the next several years of majors.
And because of the poor play from Brooks Koepka, the final round really was void of any sort of drama. Jon Rahm just kept it in the short grass and kept putting it on the green, a few birdies here and there, and then Koepka just wasn't sharp. We said the 3rd round he was last in the field of the players who made the cut. Brooks Koepka hit only 6 greens in regulation in that 3rd round, only hit half of his greens in regulation in the final round. So the bottom line for Brooks Koepka, if you want to break it down, iron play was very, very poor, and that's the bottom line. He opened the door for Jon Rahm, who just ran through it, but Koepka did not perform well under pressure in the final round of the Masters.
Yeah, that is the bottom line, and he finds himself on the same line as 3-time Masters champion Phil Mickelson.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.